The story opens with a dramatic scene in a virtual game world, where the hero, adorned in spandex and an elytra mask, stands victorious after defeating the Demon Lord. In a humorous twist, the hero dropkicks the princess, an act our main character, Rikuro Hizutome, has been fantasizing about since being burdened with a tedious quest by her in the game. This scene is set in a world where technological advancements have significantly enhanced the gaming experience, allowing for deep immersion. However, alongside these advancements, there has emerged a genre of games known for their impressive graphics but lacking in substantial gameplay or features, often referred to as trash games. Despite their poor quality, these games attract a certain audience, including Rikuro, who revels in playing and ridiculing these low-quality games. Outside of his gaming life, Rikuro is an average second-year high school student. After a night of gaming, he goes to school where a fellow student, a girl, musters the courage to approach him with the intention of asking him to hang out. However, before she can do so, Rikuro is intercepted by his friends who engage him in a conversation about the game he played the previous night. This interruption leaves the girl's attempt to connect with Rikuro unfulfilled. The story shifts to a setting after school, where Mana Iwamaki is seen putting up a poster to attract customers to her store. The girl who has a crush on Rikuro enters the store, clearly looking for him. Mana, recognizing her intention, informs her that Rikuro isn't there at the moment. She mentions that Rikuro recently picked up a game called Faria Chronicles, which he was determined to beat. This game is notoriously known as trash due to its high difficulty level, reminiscent of Dark Souls, and its numerous bugs, comparable to the initial release of Cyberpunk. As they talk, Rikuro enters the store, and the girl, named Rei, quickly retreats to the back, avoiding interaction. Mana greets Rikuro and inquires about his experience with Faria Chronicles. Rikuro confirms that the game was indeed trash, particularly criticizing the AI assistant, Faria, within the game. Faria, instead of helping, causes numerous issues, including accidentally killing villagers and then blaming the Demon Lord for these mishaps. She also reacts negatively to any suggestion of her being at fault, hindering game progress. Despite these frustrations, Rikuro is motivated to continue playing due to a unique feature in the game. After defeating the Demon Lord, players are given a 3-minute window to do whatever they wish. Rikuro had a specific action in mind for this window, which aligns with the earlier scene where he humorously dropkicks the princess. This moment of freedom after a challenging game experience seems to provide a satisfying conclusion for Rikuro's efforts in Faria Chronicles. After completing Faria Chronicles, Rikuro is ready for a new gaming challenge. Mana, seeing an opportunity to introduce him to a higher quality game, suggests Shangri-La Frontier. Accustomed to the simplistic and flawed nature of trash games, Rikuro is initially unsure what to expect from a well-made game. Upon logging into Shangri-La Frontier for the first time, Rikuro is pleasantly surprised by the character creation menu, a feature he hadn't experienced in the lower quality games he usually played. Embracing this new element, he proceeds to design his character. True to his gaming style, he focuses on offense over defense, choosing the strongest weapon available and foregoing armor. To maintain his anonymity in the virtual reality environment, he selects a bird mask to hide his identity. Rikuro chooses the Wanderer class for his character, attracted by its luck boost. When he enters the game, he finds himself in a realistically rendered wooded forest. The immersive environment and lifelike controls impress him, as he moves and interacts with the virtual world just as he would in real life. Discovering that he's not in the usual starting village due to his selection of the Wanderer class, Rikuro checks his map and begins navigating towards the village. He notes that his character's vitality is low, a consequence of his decision to prioritize weaponry over protective gear. While making his way through the forest, Rikuro hears something behind him and is suddenly attacked by a goblin. Thanks to his quick reflexes, he dodges the attack and engages in combat. Utilizing his combat skills and powerful weapon, he swiftly defeats the goblin with a single strike. The goblin drops its axe, providing Rikuro with enough experience to reach level 2 in the game. Rikuro's adventure in Shangri-La Frontier quickly escalates when he encounters a killer bunny shortly after his battle with the goblin. Unlike the goblin, the bunny poses a significant threat with its lethal knife. Rikuro narrowly avoids its attack, which is powerful enough to destroy a tree, and realizes the danger he faces. A single hit could be fatal. In the ensuing battle, Rikuro's gaming skills are put to the test. The bunny proves to be a formidable opponent, resilient to a quick defeat. Rikuro skillfully parries and counterattacks, eventually managing to defeat the bunny. This victory is not just a testament to his combat skills but also a significant progression in the game, as he jumps from level 2 to level 4 and acquires a new skill that enhances his abilities whenever he blocks an attack. Rikyuro is pleasantly surprised by the absence of bugs in the game, a stark contrast to the flawed trash games he's accustomed to. This smooth gaming experience motivates him to continue his hunt for killer bunnies, particularly interested in acquiring their unique knives. After considerable effort and grinding, Rikyuro reaches level 12 and successfully obtains 2 of the coveted killer bunny knives, a feat that required defeating 50 of these rare creatures. With his objectives in the current area achieved, he sets his sights on the next challenge, moving to the second village, Secondale. However, to reach Secondale, Rikyuro must confront the area boss, Snake, who guards the bridge leading to the village. The game suggests that players tackle this challenge with a party of 3, but Rikyuro, confident in his skills and newly acquired level and equipment, decides to face Snake alone. Meanwhile, Rei, intrigued by Rikyuro's decision to play Shangri-La Frontier, heads to the game's starter village in hopes of encountering him. She's been playing the game for some time and has attained a high level, which intimidates the newer players in the village. Searching for Rikyuro, she looks for his usual in-game name, as he tends to use the same one across different games. However, unable to find him, she assumes she's missed him in the crowd and logs out, unaware that Rikyuro, having chosen the Wanderer class, started in a different location. Meanwhile, Rikyuro prepares to face the area boss, Snake, on his way to Secondale. He activates a skill to enhance his evasion, learning the boss's attack patterns. The Snake, being a beginner boss, has predictable and simple attack patterns, but Rikyuro quickly realizes that his regular knives aren't effective due to their low durability. Deciding to test the killer bunny knives he acquired, he confronts the Snake again. However, his overconfidence leads to a mistake. He overlooks an aspect of the Snake's attack pattern and gets hit with poison, putting him on a time constraint due to the poison's gradual damage. Rikyuro strategizes to focus his attacks on a single wound to deliver critical hits, but the challenge is heightened by his lack of information on the Snake's health and the damage he is dealing. The fight escalates as the Snake knocks him into the air and heals its wound, a stark reminder to Rikyuro of the difference in quality and challenge between Shangri-La Frontier and the lower quality games he's used to. Confronted with his own overestimation of the game's difficulty and underestimation of his opponent, Rikyuro finds himself nearly defeated, almost falling into the Snake's mouth. In a desperate and defiant move, he manages to counterattack, stabbing the Snake in the eye. This final, bold move proves to be successful, allowing him to defeat the boss. Victorious but poisoned, Rikyuro levels up to 14 after defeating the Snake boss. With the poison steadily depleting his health, he quickly reallocates his stat points into agility and stamina, aiming to rush to the next village, Secondale, to find an antidote. However, without knowledge of where to find a shop in Secondale, Rikyuro is forced to improvise. In Secondale, a player named Raiji is playing the role of a seasoned veteran, guiding his crush, Mai, who is new to the game. They are planning to find a pet for Mai when they suddenly encounter Rikyuro, who is sprinting towards them. Mai, startled by Rikyuro's bird mask, mistakes him for a monster, but Raiji quickly realizes Rikyuro is a fellow player suffering from poison and close to death. He instructs Rikyuro to head to the inn to set his respawn point there, an action for which Rikyuro is immensely grateful. Mai is impressed by Raiji's quick thinking and knowledge, inadvertently making Raiji appear more appealing to her. Thus, Rikyuro inadvertently becomes Raiji's accidental wingman. Following Raiji's advice, Rikyuro rushes to the inn, swiftly skips the clerk's dialogue, secures a room, and sets his respawn point by jumping into bed just as the poison takes its toll, causing him to die in-game. Upon respawning in Secondale, Rikyuro sets out to purchase essential items, garnering odd looks from other players due to his lack of armor. Deciding to address this, he visits an armory to buy some light armor. Rikyuro, now equipped with light armor, visits the weapons shop in Secondale. He attempts to sell the axe he obtained from the goblin but learns it's worthless. While browsing the shop's selection, he finds that his killer bunny knives are superior to the available weapons. The blacksmith explains that these knives are rare and suggests that Rikyuro could order a custom weapon, provided he supplies the necessary materials. Intrigued by the idea of a custom weapon, Rikyuro sets off to the dire marsh wastes to mine for ores, a key component for crafting. However, luck isn't on his side. After 30 minutes of mining, he only manages to collect 2 braid ores, while he needs at least 5 or 6 for the weapon. While mining, a mud frog appears. Initially, Rikuro plans to ignore it as it's not a hostile creature, but after it sprays him with mud, he retaliates, turning his frustration into action. He knocks the frog over with his pickaxe and then finishes it off. This brief skirmish serves as a stress relief for Rikuro before he returns to his primary task of mining. Aware that the demand for ores in the game will likely increase as more players need them, Rikuro understands the importance of collecting them now, before competition arises. After considerable effort, he gathers all the necessary ores, including a special one that can be used to craft a rare set of daggers. Returning to the blacksmith, Rikuro is informed that he can further enhance his weapon by bringing more ores in the future. Before leaving, the blacksmith advises him to return home before nightfall, warning about the powerful and aggressive nocturnal monsters that roam outside the village after dark. Meanwhile, Rei, who has been diligently searching for Rikuro in the beginner's village, realizes that he must have bypassed it entirely and progressed to the second village, a feat not typical for an average player. But knowing Rikuro's gaming prowess, she finds this leap plausible. Back in the game, Rikuro finds himself in a tough situation. He's engaged in a battle with a red-capped goblin, a much stronger and more intelligent adversary than the standard goblin. The goblin's speed and tactical approach make it a formidable opponent, and the situation escalates when it calls for backup, leaving Rikuro outnumbered and questioning his chances of survival. However, the heightened danger excites him, fueling his love for high-stakes challenges. During this intense battle, Rikuro encounters an unexpected and unprecedented threat, a unique monster wolf. This adds another layer of unpredictability and danger to his nighttime adventure. Elsewhere, Rei's search for Rikuro leads her to Raiji and Ma-Yi, who had encountered Rikuro earlier. They described his appearance, no clothes and a bird mask, enabling Rei to narrow down her search. Grateful for the lead, she gives them a teleporter as a token of appreciation and continues her quest to find Rikuro, now with more specific information to guide her. Ma-Yi, puzzled by the encounter with the night girl, questions Raiji about her identity. Raiji, unaware of the significance, doesn't recognize the emblem on her back, which actually belongs to a guild focused on hunting unique monsters, specifically Lakagan, the Night Slayer. Unique monsters, known as Colossi, are a special class in Shangri-La Frontier, with only one of each type existing in the game world at any given time. Unlike normal monsters that respawn regularly, these unique monsters are exceedingly rare and immensely powerful. Despite the game's large player base of over 30 million and being active for over a year, no player has yet managed to defeat any of the 7 Colossi. Rikuro finds himself confronted by one of these formidable Colossi, Lakagan, the unique monster wolf. The wolf easily dispatches the goblins and turns its attention to Rikuro. In a critical moment, Rikuro executes a perfect parry, blocking the wolf's attack and avoiding certain death. Despite his successful defense, he is internally shaken, realizing the grave danger he is in. As the battle rages, Rikuro understands that even a split-second delay in his reactions could be fatal. He fully engages, activating all his skills to land critical hits on the wolf. The fight takes a mystical turn as the wolf seems to vanish when the moon is obscured by clouds, only to reappear and launch surprise attacks. Despite Rikuro's skill and determination, the wolf's thick hide makes it unclear whether he's inflicting any significant damage, even after landing numerous critical hits. His weapon's durability is also dwindling, adding to the urgency of finding a weak spot. The fight, already a daunting challenge for a beginner, escalates beyond Rikuro's current capabilities. He is left severely wounded, losing both legs, and faces imminent defeat. In this moment of near death, Rikuro's resolve hardens. He vows to defeat Lakagan someday, setting this as his new primary goal in the game, beyond any main story or side quests. Respawning in the second village, Rikuro discovers that his body is now marked with red markings, a manifestation of Lakagan's curse. This curse severely limits his gameplay, as it prevents him from equipping any items on the affected areas. Now, even if he wishes to, he can't wear armor, significantly impacting his defense strategy. The only ways to remove the curse are either by getting a specific item or by defeating Lakagan, the monster that inflicted the curse. Despite being perceived as an oddity by other players due to his cursed state, Rikuro remains focused and strategizes on how to adapt to this new challenge. His experience with playing games full of bugs and disadvantages comes in handy, as he is used to overcoming obstacles and handicaps. Rikuro decides to allocate his newly earned stat points from the fight with Lakagan, focusing on stamina and agility since enhancing his HP would be ineffective without the ability to wear armor. As he contemplates his next move, a bunny unexpectedly falls from the sky and lands on his head. This bunny, appearing more refined than the killer bunnies, leads Rikuro to believe it's part of a game event. He follows it through an alleyway to a glowing door, labeled Unique Scenario, Invitation of Rabbitusa. Rikuro recalls reading about such unique scenarios in Shangri-La Frontier. These scenarios are part of the game's expansion and side missions, offering players the opportunity to gain top-tier skills and equipment. Given his current situation with Lekugan's curse and the potential rewards, Rikuro decides to seize this unexpected opportunity and enter the scenario. Unaware of the high recommended level of 80 for the unique scenario, Invitation of Rabbitusa enters the scenario at only level 28. Inside, he is greeted by the bunny he had followed, which commends him for his valiant effort against Lekugan. Despite his defeat and low level, Rikuro had impressively dodged Lekugan's attacks, earning the bunny's admiration and recognition from Lekugan himself, evidenced by the curse placed upon him. The bunny, named Emo, reveals that it was sent to fetch Rikuro on behalf of their boss. Rikuro, concerned that the bunnies might be upset about him killing others of their kind for the knives, learns that this meeting has nothing to do with those actions. He is then escorted to a palace to meet the boss. As the first person ever to be brought here, Rikuro anticipates a significant reward. Upon entering the room, Rikuro encounters the boss, Vizek, a bunny with a rather unremarkable appearance that belies its importance. Vizek invites Rikuro to chat, signaling the beginning of what seems to be a significant and possibly game-changing conversation. Meanwhile, in the real world, Rei continues her search for Rikuro in the game. She frequents the video game store, hoping to catch him there, unaware of his unconventional progress in Shangri-La Frontier. Mana, the store owner, suggests that Rikuro might be deeply engrossed in the game during the summer break and unlikely to visit the store. She finds it amusing yet typical of Rikuro to have skipped the tutorial and headed straight to the second village, a decision that explains why Rei has had trouble locating him in the game. Mana advises Rei to try finding Rikuro in the game or to simply ask him to play together the next time she sees him in real life. However, for Rei, directly approaching her crush remains a daunting and seemingly impossible task. At Rikuro's house, his younger sister Rumi informs him that she'll be returning late due to work. Meanwhile, Rikuro is deeply engrossed in researching everything about unique scenarios in Shangri-La Frontier. He learns that the Invitation to Rabbitusa scenario is triggered by defeating a higher-level monster with a weapon obtained from a bunny. The scenario begins with a bunny appearing in the city, leading the player to Rabbitusa, where they are tasked with defeating a giant snake. Successful completion of this task rewards the player with the spell Enchant Vorpal. Back in the game, Vizek, who expresses admiration for Rikuro's battle with Lekugan and his display of Vorpal spirit, a concept unfamiliar to Rikuro. Vizek offers to train Rikuro to the level where he can handle Lekugan, implying that this is a training quest with potential for significant buffs. Eager to seize this opportunity, Rikuro humbly accepts the training, addressing Vizek as brother, a response that initially worries him as being too informal. However, Vizek appreciates Rikuro's approach and permits him to call him Bosch. Vizek sees potential in Rikuro and places him under the tutelage of his daughter, Imel. Imel is enthusiastic about showing Rikuro around the palace and starting the training. However, Rikuro, having played for an extended period, requests a break to rest and further research the unique scenario and monsters. Imel, though slightly disappointed by Rikuro's desire for a break, offers to show him to the inn within the palace so he can set his respawn point there. Rikuro gladly accepts this, but before departing, Bosch gives him a Vorpal soul collar. This collar halves the experience Rikuro gains but significantly increases the number of stat points he receives by 2.5 times. Initially reluctant about the collar's experience restriction, Rikuro soon realizes the potential benefits of the increased stat points. Unable to remove the collar without Bosch's permission, Rikuro accepts this new limitation as a necessary part of his growth in the game. His research on online forums reveals no information about Bosch, Imel, the Vorpal soul collar, or the Rabbitusa Palace, indicating that his experience is a truly unique scenario within the game. This realization excites Rikuro, as it signifies a special and exclusive adventure that only he is privy to. Realizing he has an appointment in another game, Rikuro logs out of Shangri-La Frontier to meet his friend Katsu in Berserk Online, a game they both play. Berserk Online is a lower-quality game with a dwindling player base, now only frequented by a small community of dedicated players who share a passion for such trash games. This tight-knit community knows each other well, united by their common interest. Upon logging into Berserk Online and meeting Katsu, they prepare for a battle with no rules. Katsu initiates the fight with a tentacle arm glitched attack, a technique he discovered while Rikuro was occupied with Faria Chronicles. In their intense battle, Rikuro counters Katsu's glitched attack with his own glitched move, the Instant Punch glitch. This powerful attack allows him to block any incoming attack as long as his EP, energy points, remains above 12, making him virtually invincible, even against insta-kill moves. Their duel attracts the attention of other players, who recognize them as top-tier players in this bug-ridden game. The match escalates when Rikuro manages to sever one of Katsu's hands. However, due to another glitch, the severed hand remains active and strikes Rikuro, knocking him out and securing victory for Katsu. Despite his loss, Rikuro appreciates the change of pace, enjoying the thrill of battling another player instead of just NPCs. This interaction leads to a conversation about Shangri-La Frontier. Rikuro reveals his involvement with the Seven Colossi, extremely powerful and rare monsters in Shangri-La Frontier. He shares his ambition to defeat Likagon, one of these formidable beasts, a challenge he has set for himself since being killed by it recently. Rikuro's enthusiasm for Shangri-La Frontier inspires Katsu to start playing the game as well. Back in Shangri-La Frontier, Rikuro re-enters the second village with Imel, having used a teleport gate. Imel, curious about Rikuro's prompt return from Rabbitusa Palace, learns that he has specific plans in the second village. Rikuro explains his strategy to reach the third village before it becomes overcrowded with new players who have started playing during the summer break. He anticipates that the influx of players will lead to competition for resources, making it more challenging to progress. Imel, though not fully understanding his reasoning, is eager to assist Rikuro in his quest. She sends him a party request, which surprises him, as he didn't realize NPCs could join a player's party. Imel clarifies that since Rikuro needs her to access Rabbitusa again, her joining his party is necessary. Rikuro accepts the party request, and Imel accompanies him, riding on his shoulder. As they proceed, two girls notice Imel and comment on how cute she is, inquiring how Rikuro managed to get a Vorpal bunny as a pet. Given that his experience with Rabbitusa Palace and the Vorpal bunny is part of a unique scenario only he knows about, Rikuro prefers to keep this information to himself until he completes the scenario. Rikuro's swift departure from the girls, who are curious about Imel, is interrupted when one of them snaps a photo of him and the Vorpal bunny. They plan to seek information on the forums later, illustrating the communal and inquisitive nature of the game's player base. In the Wastelands, Imel questions Rikuro's purpose for venturing there. He explains that he wants to test the effects of Lekagon's curse, specifically its ability to make lower-level monsters flee from him. This theory is promptly confirmed when a monster charges at him but then flees upon seeing the curse marks. Rikuro skillfully chases and corners the monster, using its own momentum against it to achieve a swift kill. Imel, impressed by Rikuro's aggressive hunting tactics, compliments him, and he takes it as encouragement. Now confident that lower-level monsters won't attack him due to the curse, Rikuro decides to head straight for the area boss, planning to bypass the other monsters along the way. Realizing he lacks information about the boss, Rikuro inquires with Imel, who informs him that the boss is named Muddigger. She advises that the key to defeating this monster is finding a way to immobilize it, as it attacks by emerging from the ground. And that's the end of our video. To see more, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.